Okay, so you asked for it, and here it is, the battle video. The all-new Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus versus its own sibling, the all-new Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE. Let's go ahead and jump in. First things first, these two tablets are very, very different. And can you note which is the most obvious difference? Obviously the color. This is lavender and this is mint. Obviously, I'm just joking. These two tablets, although very different, they do share plenty of similarities. Now, before we talk about some of those similarities, why don't we go ahead and highlight one of the main differences here, which would be the price. The Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE here will run you $450 for the base model, 128 gigs of internal storage, versus the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus here, which for the base model will run you $600 or $599 for the base 128 gigs of internal storage. Now, the next configuration on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE here is going to be 256 gigs of internal storage. And of course, you will have that same one here. On the Tab S9 FE, it will run you $520 versus $700 on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus. And here's another thing that I want to go ahead and add still with those config. The base configuration of the Tab S9 FE here, 128 gigs of internal storage, will afford you 6 gigs of RAM. The base storage of the S9 FE Plus, 128 gigs of internal storage, but 8 gigs of RAM. The next config of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 here, 256 gigs of internal storage, will afford you 8 gigs of RAM, whereas the next config here on the Tab S9 FE Plus will, with 256 gigs of internal storage, will afford you 12 gigs of RAM. So the options here will be 128 with 8 gigs of RAM, 256 with 12 gigs of RAM, and on the regular S9 FE, 128 with 6 gigs, 256 with 8 gigs of RAM. By the way, if you haven't done so already, please make sure to hit both the like and the subscribe button there. I truly appreciate that. Anyways, now when it comes down to the color, this is going to be some of the similarities that they share here. When it comes down to the color, you will get 4 colors, whether you go, well, options for 4 colors, whether you go for the regular S9 or the S9 FE, I'm sorry, the S9 FE or the S9 FE Plus. You will get the lavender, like what I have there for the S9 FE Plus. You get the mint, like what I have for my regular Tab S9 FE there. You also get available the gray and the silver. Still going with those similarities here when it comes down to just the build of the tablet. Either one of these is just so very well built. They feel pretty premium in the hands. You know, in this day and age, the game has evolved so much that these mid-range tablets actually feel like premium tablets. In terms of physical features, you get pretty much the same stuff, right? You have a power button on either one of these two tablets here that also does combo as a fingerprint scanner, right? So you'll be able to scan your fingerprints in order to unlock your tablet. You have your volume rocker, of course. You do have mics around the tablets. Either one of these tablets actually pick up the sound very, very well. So when you are video calling or even just regular call, people can hear you very clearly. So that's a very nice thing to see there. You do have the micro SD card slot, because remember, you can expand internal storage. Whether you go for the 128 gigs or you go for the 256 gigs of internal storage, you are going to be able to easily expand that internal storage without any issues. At the bottom, you will have your USB Type-C port. In either case, you get 2.0 when it comes down to the speed, right? So relatively quick data transfer or relatively fast speed. But the problem here, maybe not a problem, I mean, you have to keep in mind, these are mid-range tablets. The thing is, these do not push out video signal. So you won't be able to extend your display coming from your tablet to another display, or you won't be able to push out, you know, a movie or a video signal into another display. And on the other side, of course, of the tablet, you will have the Pogo pins for the official Samsung book cover and keyboards and all that good stuff. So you are able to connect to your keyboard and type and all of that good stuff. So that is it when it comes down to, I guess, the things that are similar between these two tablets. Let's talk about some of the stuff that's different. The cameras on the back, for example, you will notice that on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE, you do have a single lens there, and that's an 8 megapixel wide camera, along with a mic right below that. On the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus, you get 2 lenses, and both cameras on the back of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE here are 8 megapixels, one wide and the other one ultra wide, but both each 8 megapixel. On the front of either one of these two, you will get a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, so selfie camera, which makes sense, right? In this day and age, we tend to do more video calling, or maybe watching or, following our professor online, following our courses online. So of course, the selfie camera is much better. Picture quality is actually better than what you have on the back of either these two. But then again, if you think about it, the cameras that we have on the back of these tablets are not meant to perform like cameras that you have on your phones, for example, right? So it only makes sense that that the front one would perform better than what you have on the back. But on the back there, you can still take pictures with it. You can make video. You can take videos with it. You can actually scan documents with it without any issue. So that's when it comes down to the physical features. Let's go ahead and switch to the display. And before we even jump onto the display, let's talk about the most obvious difference. The size. One is 12.4 inches in the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus here, and the other one is boasting a 10.9 inches. Either one of these or both displays are pushing LCD displays. Also, they do support high refresh rate at up to 90 Hertz. Meaning things are smooth on these tablets here. And I can tell you that there's a difference, especially when you compare that to the Samsung Galaxy Tab S7 FE from last year, for example, which, it sits at 60 Hertz. Here you have up to 90 Hertz, and you can tell the difference as you're scrolling through. To those of you not familiar with, high refresh rate is essentially when you're consuming content, how smooth it's going to be when you scroll, through. So these are maybe not as smooth as what you have on the flagship, but definitely smoother than what you have on most tablets out there because it's 90 Hertz. Picture quality, pretty sharp also. And the colors are fairly vibrant. They work pretty well. It's pretty bright. They're pretty bright. You're looking at peak brightness, I believe, is 720, which outside under direct sunlight, especially because they're larger devices compared to like phones, for example, because they're larger devices outside under direct sunlight, you can still enjoy it comfortably without any issues. Before jumping deeper into the performance here, I want to go ahead and share what my user experience has been like, kind of a summary of my user experience as, from the perspective of the physical aspects of the tablet. User experience has been very good just because of the build quality. It feels comfortable in the hand. It feels dense, but very portable at the same time. And like I mentioned, it just feels premium. The display also very enjoyable. Watching movies, playing games on that, it looks incredible, right? It looks very, very nice, especially on this larger one. Now, some people might prefer the smaller tablet. It's even lighter and even more portable if you need to be on the go. That's definitely the way to go. So when it comes down to just user experience, it's been positive. Like, let's go ahead and talk user experience as far as performance goes. Now, I'm gonna spare you a lot of the details, a lot of the specs here. So when it comes down to performance, overall performance, I'm gonna say it's been excellent for mid-range tablets, right? They work pretty well. They're both loaded with the Exynos chipset, Exynos 1380. But as I mentioned, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus here does have a lot more RAM. So you're gonna be able to, do a bit more. And I can tell you that I noticed the difference, especially in DeX mode, Samsung DeX. Some of you may not be familiar with what Samsung DeX is. It's the program that makes things flexible for you to be able to use your tablet as a laptop, right? It offers you that desktop looking thing where you're working as if you're working on a computer. In those modes, that's when I noticed the biggest difference between these two tablets. Toggling back and forth seemed to be a bit more seamless on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus here versus the regular Samsung Galaxy Tab S9. I also, have made a review video on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE here where I talked about how it gets somewhat warm, not necessarily concerning warm, but like lukewarm to a certain extent, if that makes sense. If you do a lot of heavy work, you might feel a little something there, but I haven't felt that with the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE here. I'm pretty sure the size plays a role in just heat dissipation, right? So that's good for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9. Otherwise, day-to-day tasks, you will see that they perform about the same. Mid-level tasks, about the same. heavier tasks, I'm going to say depending on what you do. If you're doing a lot more things, obviously the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE here is going to struggle a little, not struggle, but you will notice in terms of difference that the S9 FE Plus here seems to, be a bit better at that. Now, both tablets also do support the Samsung S Pen, right? We have the standard Samsung S Pen here, meaning it's going to be loaded with all of the features that Samsung has currently available on its regular pencils, right? Or regular styluses, meaning drag and drop, copying and cutting and pasting, but you won't have access to like the air gestures because those are reserved for the, more flagship devices. But the features that are loaded here are more than enough for most people, actually for everyone out there, because when it comes down to the air gestures, they tend to be just little extras that you can do with your Samsung S Pen. Now, if you want to gain access to that, then you can pick up the Samsung S Pen Pro when it drops, right? And I'm pretty sure it will have those air gestures. But anyway, so when it comes down to just your standard, features, you will have access to all of those on either one. And of course, the S Pens are interchangeable. So I can use the S Pen made for the Tab S9 FE Plus. I can use that on the regular Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 with no issues. Now, did I mention that these are IP rated? I'm pretty sure I did, right? So these are IP68 rated, meaning you could drop them in a pool of water for up to 30 minutes without any issues. I did it for an hour without any problem with the other tablets. So keep that in mind. The same goes for the S Pens here. They are also water resistant. Now, given the size of the tablets, obviously, as you would imagine, this tablet here, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9, is going to have a smaller battery because it's a smaller tablet versus the larger Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus here, right? On the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus, you have a 10,090 milliamp, which is a large battery, versus the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE here, where we have an 8,000 milliamp battery, which also is a pretty good size battery for this. When it comes down to battery life, the Tab S9 FE Plus here has lasted more than my Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE. Results may differ simply because to a certain extent it could be subjective, right? Depending on the type of stuff that you do on your tablet. But I could definitely tell you that the battery is very good on the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus here. But anyways, you know what? I'm just going to stop this breakdown here and just kind of give you my take. These two tablets are very similar, right? There may be different tablets in terms of size and a few other things, but the similarities here are very noticeable. So let me go ahead and give you my take. So would I recommend either one of these tablets? Absolutely. I definitely would recommend this, people out there looking for different things. If you're looking for a large tablet, obviously go for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus. If you're looking for something that's more portable, then go ahead and go for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE. Now, don't pick one versus the other because you're thinking performance is much better than the other. As I mentioned, the RAM here is definitely going to play a role, and the size of the tablet, of course, is going to play a role in terms of dissipating heat and things like that, but it's not going to be anything particularly drastic in terms of performance. So you certainly will notice those differences, right? As you working on multitasking and doing a whole rack of things in the back and having a whole rack of things running in the back, you will notice that the Tab S9 FE Plus will handle those better than the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE. But generally, people who look for mid-range tablet like these, for example, won't really care much for that. So whatever the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus has access to, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE does have access to it. So what are we talking? DeX, longer support, IP rating, 90 Hz refresh rate, all of that good stuff. It does have access to whatever the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus has access to. So look at the Plus just as the jumbo version of the regular Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE, right? And base your decision off of what you need. Now, if you're not able to figure that out, make sure you ask it in the form of a question in the comment section so that I can, see what your situation is, and I would be able to go ahead and make a, recommendation on what you should go for, right? So make sure that if you know anyone who is currently in the market for either one of these tablets, you share this video with them. This may be informative enough to help them pull that trigger. So I would definitely suggest for this, if you're looking for a lighter version of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 Plus, this would be it, right? These are beautiful displays, for, you know, watching movies, even gaming, as I mentioned earlier, very good. But obviously, like I said, performance, you know, might suffer a little bit if, depending on the game, if you go to the highest settings. Anyways, that's just my take when it comes down to the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE versus the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus. So like I said, in order for this to, or in order for you to feel like you've gotten as much information out of this video as possible, make sure to just ask a question, you know, as it pertains to your situation, what you are currently looking for, what you are planning on doing with the tablet, and I'll be able to, you know, guide you that way towards what you should go for. So I'm going to catch you in the comment section. I'm also going to catch you in the next video. Make sure to share the video, of course, if you haven't done so already. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. I will catch you in the next video, as I mentioned. Up until that next video, of course, as always, stay safe out there.